All right, so we got this streaming. We should be going into the group there.
Nice.
I can
I
see some
can
stuff
see
rolling.
two new upsells and one new customer. Congratulations. Did you mark it down on your money map? Have you done a money map? That's huge. I'm telling you, when you mark that stuff down, just more keeps coming.
Yeah, it's you know what is in it's all around the whole idea of what you focus on grows, right? And you probably heard that a bunch of times of whatever you focus on will continue to grow. Just because that's where your focus is, right? So you keep going in that direction. If you're focusing on negative stuff and not having sales and those kind of things, you're going to continue not having that stuff, but you're focusing on growth, you're keeping an eye on it, and you're watching it every day, you're going to continue with that mindset of continuing to grow and add new things because you keep moving in that direction, right? And that's all it is. It's just where your awareness is in your business. So that's why the money map, even if it's not really a really technical thing, it directs your awareness. If you have it up somewhere, you walk by it like 5 times a day, you're like, yeah, that's right. I got to do that. I got to do that. I got to reach
Yeah.
out to people. I got to call that person back. I got to make that sale so that we add it to the thing. So that's why it's important. Like again, it's a super analog, low tech thing, but it's just about focusing your awareness. Now, one thing in the group that Chandel's been posting for like 3 months now is on Sundays is like, what are your rocks for the week? And I think I'm just going to talk about that really, really quickly because we haven't done a training and I've asked to we should put something together for that. Just to explain it because unless you've actually gone through it, you don't know. So the idea behind the rocks is there's a video by some professor, I forget who it was, but he went through and he had a jar, right? And he poured in sand, he poured in pebbles, and then he was like, I need to get these rocks in here. And the rocks being like your big decisions, the big things that you need to do in your life or your business to move your stuff forward. The pebbles are like the medium things. They need to be done, they can be offloaded. And the sand is just all the tiny things, all the tiny decisions that you need to think about during the week, but or your day or whatever. But if you focus on all those little tiny little things that don't really move the needle or aren't that important, they fill up your jar. And then you put the pebbles in and then you have no room for your rocks. So by focusing on your rocks, which are your big tasks, then you're able to fill up, you put your rocks in. Then your pebbles come in. Those are the smaller decisions that you have to make. And those things can be outsourced. You can put those things you pour those in, they start filling up your jar. Now your jar still looks full, but now you have all the tiny, you have all your tiny decisions, all the little things that don't really move things forward, but that make you feel productive. You can pour those in and they spill in all the way around the jar. Now, and that's because you're focusing on the big things which are important. And in our business, it's marketing, right? It's our getting customers. Well, that's all about marketing, right? It is the big things that we need to do to push things forward. And for us right now, and really in your business, if you like Dan Kennedy, Evan Pagan, Rich, like Russell Brunson, everything like that, it's all about marketing, right? Go out and get the customers um and then provide the service. I know Shannon and I had this discussion many times over the years because um from hair salon, when you were working in the hair salon, it was get the provide the service, provide a really good service, and then customers will come. You want to make sure that you can provide that service, so you have the training, you have all this stuff, you have the all the tools you need, you have everything set up, and then you can go get the customers, right? So you feel confident about going out to get the customers. But the reality is, in working in this kind of business, it's go get the customers and then we'll figure out how we provide the training. We don't need to hire a bunch of people so that we can support the customers we don't have. We don't need to sign up for all the onboarding systems and fulfillment systems and all that kind of stuff before we have the customers. We need to go get the customers. And that's like what we were talking about last Monday too, which was test your product. Have you gone out and gotten a single customer? Before you start spending money on all the fancy stuff, just go get a customer. And I've told my clients and other prospective clients over the years, over and over again, go get a customer, right? So there's some interesting books that we've had over the years that focus on the whole rocks scenario type thing. And maybe we'll talk about this more down the road. But what's really cool about it is, I mean, this one here I think is called Ethic Planner. And it says ethic on the back. And it's from a guy here in Canada out on the East Coast. And though he has a whole planner, and I think there's a few of them out here. It's based on the idea of there's a book that was written years ago called the 12-week year. I think that's what it was called. There was a book called the 12-week year, and it's about planning out your year into 4 different segments. And then focusing on the rocks, doing your big stuff, and then doing your medium stuff and doing your small stuff, and then having that as a progression through each day. So if you ever want to take a look at it, I think it's just called the 12-week year. There's a guy named, what's the guy? Todd Herman, who took that book and then he made a
That was
program
the
called the
9,
90
that
day
was
year.
the, yeah, 90-day year. Yeah.
12-week year. I'm just gonna, oh, and there's a planner and stuff for it too. I'm just looking on Amazon right now, but it's a really great way to just bring this over and I'll share my screen for a second. Got a few book recommendations today. Okay. So 12-week year, and then there's a 12-week planner and workbook. I don't know if it's by the same person. It might be, but it's a really great book to read if you just want to get organized and help yourself move in the right direction. And that's what we're talking about with rocks. Shan's like, what are your rocks for this week? What are your 3 big things that you're working on this week that's going to move things forward in your business? So that's those. I like that. We have one called Epic Planner. We have another one that's called the 90-day year planner. And it's the exact same thing. They basically all focus on the same type of stuff. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions or any other book recommendations like that, but let us know in the comments here if there's anything that you guys do to keep moving forward, to keep yourself motivated, especially when it seems like there's a lot of work to do.
All the little things will always take over your day, right? So it's important to focus on those big things.
It is absolutely. So okay. Well, today we've got some fun stuff that we want to talk about, and again, it's Mindset Monday here on the 21 Day Challenge with your host Jason Orban and Chandel. Hey, and we just want to talk about mindset. I think it's so important, and we've spent years working on our mindsets for business, and just putting yourself out there, like even for example, with this challenge, it's something that we haven't done for a really long time. And when you don't do something for a really long time, you tend to dread doing it, like, or you're scared to do it, right? You're nervous to do it. So it's easy to get to like just want to put it off and not do it. So we're going to go through some mindset stuff today, just talking about business things, and then we do talk about some visualization, a little visualization technique, which I think is so important. And then we'll finish it off with understanding your customer and their mindset and what they're thinking, so that it's easier to get customers because you're getting into their head. So I don't know if you guys have any questions before we get started today, but yeah, let me know and fire them over. Oh yeah. So Brian says the biggest issue is cold outreach. I have hundreds of potential clients in my friends list, but I have a really hard time messaging them in Messenger. So do you mean like like mentally you have a hard time messaging them, or like you just can't find time to message them? Yeah, I'm gonna maybe Shan can say something about this because we started a program 6 months ago called GSD. And one of their big things that they talk about in there is reaching out to customers. And I know Shan had a big block about about reaching out to past customers. So I don't know, Shan, you want to talk about that for a second?
Um, so my computer keeps freezing,
Oh, okay.
so it's hard for me to talk,
Okay.
unfortunately. I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
you should go through the
let me
stuff
go
that we
through it
talked
and then
about
we'll.
because I think that this will really help. I think the biggest thing is we're going to go over a couple different really good exercises. Jason's going to lead everybody in. The visualization, the thing that we're going to do first here is like, it's one thing to say, go out, message 50 people a day,
Yeah,
whatever, to go walk in and talk to 50 different people a day. But it's another thing to believe what will happen from that and to get rid of those limiting beliefs that happen in the back of your head. It's your ego holding you back, and it's fear of failure, right? And it's remembering, like, what is the worst thing that's going to
yeah.
happen? Somebody's going to tell you to get the hell out of there. Like, it, maybe that will happen, but like, what then? What is the worst thing that will happen? I find that helpful now. And then I also think it's just important to look at your goals. Unless we've got something on the line, we're not as motivated, right? If we're just comfortable. Am I freezing? I feel like
Your
my
picture is freezing, but your voice is great.
it's so weird. Maybe I should just shut my video off, but that's weird
It's
too.
fine. It doesn't really. It's not affecting it at all. Like I mean, we can hear you perfectly
Okay.
fine.
It's so weird. But yeah, I think Jay, go through what you're going to go through. I think that that's a really good plan. And then we can open it up for
Yeah,
more conversation after. How
yeah.
about?
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a thought, but it'll come back to me. But yeah, let's go through these things here. Um, what was I gonna? Okay, I can't remember exactly what I was gonna say, but let's move on here. But we'll come back to it because um yeah, yeah.
I
You
think
know what?
one more
Yeah,
thing, babe. I think that that's our goal here right now with Power Tools that I feel like other programs are lacking is that we're giving you the tools and the support, the confidence needed to know that you can deliver on these things as well. That's something that I always felt like I
yeah.
was lacking. So like with this new live demo that we're sending out, hopefully later on today, even like
Yeah,
you're gonna
later today
have
it'll
these
be completed
tools
for sure. We're just testing it
in
all.
your pocket, right? To go and stand with somebody and show and be excited about versus just trying to sell the same shit that everybody else is trying to sell. I think that's for me, that helps a lot in the confidence of just going and stopping in somewhere. You don't feel like you're just taking somebody's time for no reason, right?
There was not included net, like leading directly about sales, but putting yourself out there. And I've gotten better over the years at kind of bartering with some people and thinking about it. But it's like I was chatting with one guy and he had something up for sale and I went out there and I offered him something like I think it was like half price or something like that for his thing. And he's like, that's half price. Like what? Like he's like, absolutely not. And he's like, how can you even suggest that or something like that? And then I just said to him, I'm like, yeah, I understand, but what if you said yes?
Yeah.
You know, I put that out there. I get it. But what if you said yes? And like I said, yeah, I offered you 50% for the thing that you're selling. But what if you said yes? And he went, you're right. What if I
Yeah.
said yes? You know,
Yeah.
then I would have got a deal on it. Maybe he would have been happy with it, whatever. But you never know unless you try. And now just about Brian's thing is I always like to just start up especially with old potential customers that people we talk to haven't talked to for maybe it's been a while, but just start up a good conversation with them. And it doesn't have to lead directly into a pitch right there, but like learning about where they've been, what have they been doing, that kind of stuff. And then just asking about business, how business is going and stuff like that. And then maybe it goes into a pitch, but it all comes back to like this whole fear of rejection, right? People are going to not want to be our friends if we ask them for business. Now, there was one time in my 20s, I was sitting in a pub and I was out for a printer. I was out with a printer salesman and in our team, we all met up for like coffee or something like that, or it was a beer. And here's what he said. So we were sitting at the table and just straight out, he was like, "Do you guys need a new printer? I can sell you guys a new printer. Basically, we've got awesome printers, and I'd like to just basically I want to sell you guys one." And the guy who was with him, who was like his apprentice type thing, or the younger guy, was like, "You're just gonna come out right here during this beer and just ask him if he wants a new printer." And then this is what the guy said. He was probably in his 50s at the time. And he said, "You know what? Business is like sex. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it." So
It's true.
that's always stuck with me in my head, right? If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. So
Yeah.
you have to
I
be
think
willing
like
to get out there and ask for it.
gamify it a little bit with that money map. Like make it a game, make it
Yeah.
fun. How many people can you talk to? If you talk to 5 people, how many yeses does that become? And really, until you get a solid no, get the hell out of here, don't talk to me about this anymore, then you're still just keep asking
Yeah,
questions,
no one's
reach
gonna
back out. How was your weekend? Whatever, right?
yeah, no one's gonna hate you for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into
No.
this. So I'm a huge fan of visualization. Like I think it's such a powerful tool that people rarely do, and they never talk about. I make my kids do it, or I encourage my kids to do it with all of their sports. Anything that they're doing, close your eyes for 5 minutes and visualize what your goal is for today. If they're going to go play a game, I always ask them to pick one thing that they're going to work on during the game. I ask them what's one thing that you want to work on and get better at during the game, and they give me something that they want to work on, and then I just ask them to close their eyes and visualize that whole thing. Visualize receiving passes, visualize making passes, visualize scoring on the net, visualize doing that one timer. And they see themselves doing it. And I've caught my kids, like we're traveling to a game, and my son is like, "Dad, can you just be quiet? I'm trying to like visualize," kind of thing, which is good. And there was an amazing program that I did years ago, and it was called Advanced Learning and Teaching, and it was put on by Evan Pagan and Wyatt Woodsmall. Wyatt Woodsmall is an amazing mental coach, and he is a leader in neurolinguistic programming, NLP. If you don't know what NLP is, if you know what NLP is, like put a 1 in the comments, let me know. If you don't, that's cool. I'll tell you quickly about it. Neurolinguistic programming is all about programming your brain, and you could do it on your own. It's so awesome. But it helps you get rid of limiting beliefs. And now people always say, "Oh, you just got to get rid of limiting beliefs. Just go and do this thing." But it's hard because it's the way our brain is programmed, right? So NLP gives you tools that you can then take and reprogram yourself by doing really, really simple exercises. Um, and I've done it with a ton of like friends and people I know, and I've helped people get through like major blockages and all different kinds of things. And it's really cool. I had one friend who had like I'll tell a really quick story about this, but he had a tumor on his spine, but the doctors wouldn't believe that he had something wrong with his spine. He would come out to visit me, and he was literally numb from his like belly button down to his feet. He could still walk, but he's like, "I can't feel anything at all." So he was still trying to be active and do stuff. He was going camping, biking, all that kind of stuff. And then one time it just got to a point where he couldn't do it. He went to the doctor. He was like, "I'm in so much pain. Um, I'm in so much pain, you need to do something." The doctor's like, "You're a hypochondriac. There's nothing wrong with you. People are going to laugh at me if I send you for an MRI, whatever." And he went for the MRI. The technician was like, "Where the hell is this guy?" And the guy's like, "Oh, he went for lunch." And the guy's like, the technician was like, "This dude is walking. Like he's days away from being completely paralyzed. We need to get him in for surgery." They literally got him in for surgery a couple days later, or like the next day or something like that. And he had a golf ball sized tumor pressing up on his spinal cord. Um, but one of his big hangups was that nobody believes him when he says something's wrong. So he was in the hospital after surgery, and he's been in there for like a week, and he's got these like massive migraines. And again, he's telling them that they have like there's something wrong, there's nothing not right. Like I have like the worst, absolutely killer, painful headaches, and the nurses were all like, "You're yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine, whatever." Um, And then he kind of got upset, and then the nurses got upset at him and whatever. But he ended up going for surgery, and they were like, "You've got a staph infection in your spinal cord, and if we didn't do surgery today, you would be dead." You know, so another thing, but he had this whole blockage now of people not remembering him and or like believing him. So we went through this NLP thing where we did this thing out of this book called Timeline Therapy, and I'll bring this up as well because it's really cool. It's a kind of a neat introduction to NLP, and it's called, I think I have it on here. This is by Wyatt Wood Small too. It's called Timeline Therapy, and it's just got some tools about going back through like your life and your timeline and getting back. You can replace memories and images. And anyways, I did this with this guy, and he replaced the memory of the nurses yelling at him with a giant puppy dog licking his face. And he was like, "This is amazing. I've never." It allowed him to break through that thing, and he was the short story was that he was able to eat ramen again, because I mean that's what he was trying to eat that day that the nurses are yelling at him. But it allowed him to get through a lot of different blockages. So that's really cool. And inside this training, this advanced learning and teaching by Wyatt Woodsmall and Evan Pagan was this whole thing about visualization and how top sports performers, they all are trained to do visualization before they go and actually do the thing they need to do. So an Olympic diver who's up on the like fifth story there, who's going to do his dive, you can see them before they go and do their dive. They're standing up there, their eyes are closed, and they're going through all the motions. They're going through the exact dive that they're going to do before they actually step up to the platform and go do their dive. And there was one time years ago, actually in 2019, I applied to be on a cooking show with the Food Network, and part of that was you needed to cook a meal in 30 minutes and something that you could do. And I picked like lamb chops and like roasted potatoes. So I got accepted on the show. They flew me out to Toronto. I went out there, but in part of doing that, I practiced cooking the lamb chops and doing all that kind of stuff at home, like 8 times in like 3 weeks or something like that, 4 weeks. And my family is absolutely sick of lamb chops and we haven't eaten them since. But a big part of that was when I couldn't afford to continue cooking so many lamb chops because it was costing me like $50 every time I wanted to cook lamb chops for the practice, because for some reason I picked that meal. But I probably cooked it like 8 times physically, but I ran through the exact process probably another 20 or 30 times just mentally, from close my eyes, go through every single step, visualizing myself doing it. And the thing is, your brain doesn't know the difference between you physically doing something and you mentally doing something. In your brain, your memories are the same thing as what you're seeing happening right out in front of you. Because I mean, information comes in through your eyes, it goes into your brain processes it there, right? So visualizing it there, it's all in your brain does the exact same thing. So one of the I talk about all that because I think it's important to think about visualizing even when it comes to like your marketing experience, how you're getting customers, how you're reaching out to those customers, and how you're making that happen. So I'm suggesting here is I'd like for you guys to try this out and do a 7-minute meditation a day. It doesn't have to take long at all. Really close your eyes, lay down on the couch, do something quiet for 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes. That's all you really need to do. And for the first 2 minutes, I mean, it's always a great idea to practice gratitude, right? Be thankful for the things that you have. Practice, be grateful for the things that you have. Say, thank you. Picture all the things that you have and understand like you brought that into the world. This is what we already have. We're not going to lose this stuff if we continue doing the marketing and growing our businesses and everything. But I mean, we're just adding to it. And these are all the things that we already have. So gratitude for people in your life, gratitude for being able to sign up for high level, gratitude for reaching out to businesses, gratitude for having the ability to get out there and actually talk to customers. And then after you go through just a minute or two of gratitude, go into 5 minutes of visualizing getting customers. And that can be anything from closing your eyes, thinking about, I'm going to send out 10 messages, and visually see yourself put a big movie theater up in front of you in your mind and see yourself sending those 10 messages, sending them out to customers. What are you going to say in those 10 customers? And then visualize those people that you reached out to responding back in a positive way. Them responding back saying, yeah, I would love more information. And then visualize yourself giving them a demo of whatever system or software that you're doing. And then continue to visualize they're happy, they're excited, they want to sign up with you, right? You tell them the price, they have no problem with it. Visualize this, see this in your mind, and imagine all these things happening. Visualize yourself signing a contract, shaking their hands, going out to visit them in their store, whichever type of process that you want to do to get customers. Physically visualize yourself doing that in your mind. And the more you do that, and then, a big part of that too is visualize them handing over a check, visualize them paying with a credit card, visualize looking at Stripe and you see that money coming in from that, and visualize like you fulfilling it, and customers are super happy and they're excited to talk to you. And I think that's a huge part of just changing your mindset and building yourself up so you're um not afraid to do the things that you want to do. You need to do them. You can get yourself past that resistance, right? Get yourself past that fear of rejection. And when you go to do it physically, it's much easier. When you go to do it in person and send those messages or do those things, it becomes easier and easier and easier, because again, your mind doesn't know the difference between actively physically doing it in the real world or just imagining doing it in your mind. So it's a hugely powerful just tool that you can use. And I do it all the time. And I'd love to hear if you guys have any experience with doing any kind of visualizations like this, or if it's something that you guys do or believe in or whatever. Let me know in the comments. All right.
I
um,
mean, feel free too if you want to unmute
yeah,
yourself
if you want to
and
just say
chat
something too, I mean, I love your
directly,
guys'
then
feedback
feel
about
free to
that.
do that as well. Babe, maybe check the waiting room as well for a quick
Yeah,
second.
I've got it up here and we are all good on the waiting room. I'm gonna
Well,
check.
yeah, I'll go.
One
Oh,
more
Sure.
thing
You guys,
that
I'll
one
I'll
more
I'll
thing
contribute.
that
yeah, okay.
one more oh, go ahead.
Just so you guys aren't like just talking to a silent room
He's talking to a wall. It's good.
awkwardly.
It's all good.
Um, so like my personality type with like my very high ADHD, as I was
Yep.
explaining to Chandel on Saturday. So I do like a 2 minute, like two
Yeah.
minutes max. And I got it out of a book called Why People Fail. And he has a platform, or like a, not platform is not the right word, but like a guiding principle called smart visualization.
Okay.
And it's just basically like, um, I can pull it up in my Notion here and just tell you real quick what he covers in it. It's very similar to what you're describing, but the idea is that um, you just have a structure to follow every time.
Yeah.
Because basically, if I don't, then I will just think about like any random thing that I can possibly like
Yeah.
think of. Oh, sorry, score technique. So it's like you just, before you do any kind of activity or anything like that, it's like you spend 2 minutes kind of like visualizing what you're about to do.
Yep.
And the score method is like self-discipline. Like ask yourself, and I keep this on a piece of paper like right in front of me all the time, just because otherwise I'll totally forget to do it. But it's like ask yourself if you're working towards your goals, doing what you know you should be doing in a disciplined manner. Concentration, check whether you are focused and concentrating on the task at hand. Optimism, are you enthusiastic, energetic, and positive? Are you expecting things to go well? Relaxation, check your tension, because if you're uptight, then you're
Yep.
not doing your best work and you're not thinking clearly. And enjoyment, monitor your enjoyment levels and make sure you're feeling good and appreciating the moment, and ensure that you're choosing to have fun. That's like
That's
one
huge.
that, yeah, that's one that's big for me, is because like I actually like really like cold calling. I'm one of the like 2% that actually like really enjoys like meeting strangers
Yeah.
and but I don't like doing it in a way where like I feel like I'm going in and asking for something and like wasting people's time. So, I need to go in there with like pure curiosity and also have something in hand that I'm like super prepared to pitch if it happens to get there. But lots of times I saw somebody like left a comment about like what do you leave behind when you're showing up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's about like do a little bit of research ahead of time, have like something in mind, but if it doesn't get there, like don't stress that on the first like introduction kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then like, you got to make sure that you're like enjoying that process and like that's something that you actually want to do. Because if it's something that you like fucking hate doing and you're telling yourself like, oh, I hate this, I just need to force myself to do it, that's probably not going to go well. So I think it's like um you can prime yourself a lot for that anyways.
Yeah. Um, I think that's awesome. And I like that you have like a 2 minute one that you can do more often
That's my
as
max,
well.
2 minutes, that's it.
Yeah. I've done ones that are,
2 minutes, do it like 10 times a day. Because if it's
yeah,
like,
I've done ones
like
that are like,
Tim Ferriss, like 45 minutes, like sit there on a pillow and
oh, I
laugh, fuck
can't.
that, that's not happening, that my
I've
brain
done
doesn't work that way.
I've done so many different meditation ones. And
Yeah,
there's one I do like that we got from another guy. I forget what his name is. He called it Prime Light. It's about discipline though, and it's a 20-minute long one.
yeah,
And
not my jam.
for the first 5 minutes, you lay there, and it's interesting, you don't move. Don't move like a muscle or anything like that for 20 minutes, for 5 minutes. And the idea is that it takes you and it puts you into a state more of like you're in that state between awake and sleep,
Right.
kind of thing. And your body doesn't know the difference because what happens is when you lay there for 5 minutes without moving, your body gets all these itches and these weird things going on all the time.
Mhm.
But if you don't scratch them, it's the idea is that it tricks your body into thinking that you're asleep, because those things might happen while you're asleep as well, but you're not scratching itches and stuff like that while you're sleeping. So it kind of puts you into a state, and then you go into gratitude, and then after that you go into um just acceptance, and you're telling the universe that send me any information that you want to send me, and I'm open to doing it, and then allowing yourself to just receive messages basically from the universe that pop into your head, and you have some weird stuff that comes up and you're like, that's weird. No, and then sometimes you find solutions to things. You're like, oh, I should go and do that. That's exactly what I should do.
Mhm.
It's interesting, but it definitely is a longer process, and it's sometimes you just completely fall asleep, but
Yeah, I probably will.
uh, sometimes. And then I've done another one where my buddy, a guy named Dale, I know my buddy Dale, he does one where it's like the chant kind of thing, you're repeating words, and
Mm.
that's interesting too, but again, it takes like 20 minutes to get into a state from that. And that one's also a little bit awkward, embarrassing, especially if you're in a house with other people, because then you're like chanting words and people are like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. Thanks for sharing the
Yeah.
2 minutes. I'll try to grab some of those notes too, and maybe we can put that in there, the score method
Sure. Yeah, I can share them.
of just a 2 minute visualization before you go and do something. And that's powerful. I think even before you're going to send out any messages, before you walk into a business, before you do anything like that, putting yourself and pre-framing yourself so that you're expecting a good outcome rather than expecting the worst. Because I think a lot of times with our just in general, we're thinking that we're going to go in, people are going to hate us, they're not going to want to talk to us, they're going to get mad that they're disturbing them, and that kind of thing. The whole thing, I don't want to waste your time, kind of thing. But there's also another phrase out there, which is, if you have something that's going to help somebody, you owe them to sell it to them, right? If you have something that can absolutely change their life and help them with their business and everything like that, you owe them to go and do it. If you're not going to go sell it to them, you're doing them a disservice by not actually telling them about it and letting them know that that option is available, because how much how well it can do, and how much it can change their business and their life. So Yeah, let's move on to the next one here. I always got this list of 12 marketing mindsets that I like to follow. Gonna share that with you guys. Yeah, so Brian says it takes you into theta state. Absolutely, that's the 5 minutes of laying there, not doing anything. It takes you into that theta state, and it's really interesting the stuff that comes up from that. You just let your mind go free, do gratitude, let your mind go free after that, and then just stuff comes in, and it's really neat. Takes a little bit of discipline. I found for that first trying to get through the first 5 minutes of the meditation that way was very challenging, probably for the first 5 times that I tried it, because you're trying not to move. Now I think I can do it really easily, but it took a while to get into that. So this is something that I've always followed and I really like it. It's the 12 marketing mindsets, and it talks about growing your business, right? Where the one of the biggest thing that you can do in your business is marketing and going out and getting customers and finding new customers and reaching out and building those relationships. That is like the number one thing that you can do in your business. If you're not going to do that, then you're not going to have a business. So it's important to set at least one day a week aside, even half a day, where you can just focus on your marketing for your business rather than trying to run all your client stuff, so that you can grow and bring more customers in. Because the more money you make, the more people you're going to be able to help. That's an important thing to understand as well, that we're not just trying to trick people into giving us their money so that we can, haha, I've got your money, see you later. It's we can actually help them, and the more people that we can help, the better that we can help them, right? Because then we can scale, then we can grow our team, we can offer them more services, and we can do those things for them as well. So I'm going to go to 12 marketing mindsets, and we'll go through this relatively quickly. So why learn marketing mindsets? It's the whole thing is that how you think about your area of business or success determines how you approach it, right? So if you have if you have the wrong idea about marketing or the wrong expectations, you're very likely to make a serious mistake, or you're just not going to do it because you're you're stuck in that whole cycle of avoiding rejection, and you don't want to go out and do it. You don't want to put yourself out there. So marketing mindset number one: marketing is the key money maker in your business. It's the only way you get new customers. It's the only way that you keep customers engaged. It's the only way that new customers get referred and anything like that. So marketing, it's the most important activity in your business. So
Hey,
what's activity?
Jason,
Yeah. You want me to share my
share your
screen?
screen.
Okay. Thank you for telling me. That is something that I'm working on, screen sharing. I'll share with you all my screen. So mindset number one is marketing is a key money maker in your business. Most activities inside a business cost money instead of making money. Of those things that do make money, marketing makes the most money. It's an investment. That's what we always like to try and tell our customers, right? It's an investment. The businesses who don't think of marketing as an investment, those are the ones that always drop off. They're the ones that always quit early, because they feel like marketing is an expense that they have rather than a part of their business that brings in more customers, that makes them more money. So it I can't even say that word. It reprioritizes what you need to do every day, and is the activity that brings business through the doors. Prioritizes. There we go. And you know what, marketing mindset number two, it's not something that you do once, it's an ongoing process. There's a really interesting lady that I talked to back in Saskatchewan when we lived there. She owned a clothing store. Really beautiful. She brought stuff in from India. She had all kind of like gowns and flowy things and all different kinds of stuff. And I was talking to her about marketing once, and she told me that she only likes to do one time of marketing one time, and then she doesn't ever do it again. So she's like, I ran this campaign, it was good. I'm like, well, how did that work out? She's like, oh, it went really well. We brought in lots of customers. I'm like, so you did it again? No, I only do things once, and then I never do them again. I'm like, that's interesting. So she was like trying to figure out how she should get more customers, and I'm like, run those programs again. So marketing mindset number two, it's an ongoing process. It's something that we're going to continue doing, right? Marketing mindset number three: marketing begins with the understanding the needs and wants of your customer. It doesn't begin with advertising, putting up a website. It begins with understanding your customer, and we're going to get into that next. Number four: customers hate to be sold, but they love to buy. So instead of convincing customers, give them what they need to convince themselves to buy. Allow your customers the pleasure of finding a solution to their problems so they can love to buy. People like spending money. They like finding hidden things. They like discovering something about that. So we can do that through our website. We can do that through content, blogs, videos, articles, social media, YouTube, putting out content and creating content about your product, about your service is a great way to be able to do that. Sending people a message and letting them know what's out there and asking them to watch a video and just kind of discover something on their own, that works as well. And by letting them watch a video rather than just trying to convince somebody that they need your service, letting them discover it, right? Having a really good conversation saying, hey, this is something new that we're working on. I'd love to get your feedback. Let me know what you think. Rather than saying, hey, I've got this thing. Oh, new sale, new sale, new sale. I mean, I see that all the time with a lot of local businesses that instead of like putting out information and letting people discover them, they're always trying to sell something on someone on something new. So, I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know if that makes sense. Let them let people discover what you have rather than just like constantly like hard selling them on stuff. Going just yeah, if you want, just throw a 1 in the comments. Let me know if that makes sense. All right, Samantha says I love it. So okay, cool. So marketing mindset number 5, marketing is about triggering action. Marketing is customer getting and customer keeping. So remember that it's not just about advertising, it's not just about the outreach, it's about engaging your customers and retaining them as well, right? Human beings don't make most decisions consciously, although it appears to the decider they are. We want to appeal to the lizard brain and the chimpanzee brain so they have what they need to make the decision. Now, the idea behind the lizard brain, chimpanzee brain, and the human brain is that we evolved to have 3 different types of brains. Now, if you believe in this stuff or not, let me know. But you have your lizard brain, which just controls most of your automatic actions, your breathing, your sex drive, your emotions, stuff like that. And then we have our chimpanzee, which builds on that, which adds more things, but it's all more automated type things inside our brain. Then we got the human brain, which is built on top of that, with the idea that we have these different levels that our brains have evolved to have. And now the human brain has the part of the brain that allows us to reason. But most of our decisions that we make are based on emotion. It's not based on logic. I mean, somebody doesn't go and spend $250,000 on a car because logically they need that car. They go and they do it because of status. They go and do it because of emotion, right? They go and do it because it's something they think that if they get that, other people are going to look at them in a different way. It's an emotional need for that, right? The whole idea behind, I told Chandel like this, is the idea behind selling the shovels. And the idea behind selling the shovels is in the gold rush in the 1890s or whenever it was, the people who got rich weren't the people who were out mining for gold and panning for gold and doing all that. It was the people selling the shovels, and there's great stories about that. But they built all the tools that appeal to the people's emotions, where they're like, we're going to go out and get rich by using all these things. But meanwhile, the people who are selling the shovels are the people who are getting rich off of that thing. But it's appealing to people's chimpanzee brain, their lizard brain. The emotional side of things, the reason why we make decisions is based a lot on our emotions. So you don't want to cross ethical boundaries for doing anything like that, or try to convince people that to do things that they don't want to do. But it's really interesting when you start understanding the psychology of sales, the psychology of persuasion. There's a really good book called The Psychology of Persuasion. It's really, really interesting about why people make the decisions that they do. And it's a really fun book to read as well. So I'm going to go on to marketing mindset number 7. Run your marketing like a business. Run something like a business is about taking it seriously, measuring it, and making sure that it actually works. Most people run their marketing by intuition. not like a business. Again, even a little bit of like kind of what we talked about with the money map, that's just moving you more into the idea of, we're running it more like a business. We're starting to track things, right? We're starting to see things and we're taking things more seriously rather than just like, I don't know, who knows what we're going to do, who knows how things are going. But once we start tracking things, monitoring things, analyzing things, and we having processes behind that, then things start to click a little bit more. And we start treating our marketing, which is our customer outreach, getting customers, getting them paying, getting them to stick around, reducing churn. That kind of stuff is a big thing about doing your marketing. Okay, going over to number 8. Again, let me know if you guys have any questions as we're going through this. These are things that I just really like and I just wanted to share with you guys. Understand your prospective customer better than they understand yourselves. We're going to jump into that right after this. I'm going to talk about that quickly, and I'm going to give you some tools that you can use to understand your prospective customer better than they understand themselves. This is about deep diving into their desires, fears, fantasies, learning the words that they use to describe their situation, understanding them better than they understand themselves so you can develop deep relationships with them and offer them many more products because you understand what they're going through. And this is a big thing that we've talked about with other coaching clients we've had or businesses that we work with is go out and understand who your customer is so you know what their problems are or what their process is. Even people coming into high level, I haven't heard very many people actually talk about understand who the customer is that you want to go and sell high level to. And the customers that you see who are doing all the big SaaS numbers, they understand their customer. They're the ones who are picking a niche, they're rolling with that niche, and they're not just limiting themselves to, hey, this is a software that you can use. They're understanding what their customers need, and then they're building on that by providing additional training, providing support. They're giving they're doing Jason, see ya. Thanks for coming by. They're giving the things that those customers need to enable to grow their business as well, not just a piece of software, so that they can use it. So marketing mindset number 9, making successful marketing is ultimately a successful marketing system and sequence. So that's where high level really, I think, comes in is we can build out our automations, we can build out our sequences, but then also what kind of things that you need to do on your end. So what kind of timeline do you need to map out and what actions do you need to take on a daily basis in order to keep your marketing moving forward? So you want to build a marketing system so a customer can come to you, get a consistent experience of learning about your services, why they need to purchase from you, the upsells, your offer, all that kind of thing. And then once you have a system that converts people into paying customers, that works over and over again, you can grow your business. Now, that starts out with the entire premise of this 21-day challenge that we have is just going out and starting to meet those customers where they are and learning about them so you can start speaking their language, so you can get in front of them so that you can build this entire sales process that is geared directly towards what their needs are. So number 10, the success of your marketing is directly related to the perceived value that you create for your customers. Customers don't buy if you come say, come and buy my product. And that's what a lot of people are doing with high level. You see that all the time inside the high level group. People are just like, I started this and, I put the website up and I ran 3 ads and nobody has come and bought my thing. And it's been 2 months now. So what customers want to make a decision is massive value. So you need to take your products and services and speak to them about them in terms of value. If you're talking about features, what benefits do those features have and what problems do you solve? You need to connect the dots and show them exactly how your business can solve their problem. And that comes, and you see that in a lot in the high level group too. There's some great people who have mentioned this in the past. It's just that taking the system, not just being like, here's all the features we have. We have a conversations tab. We have a website builder. We have funnels. We have this, we have that, but actually talking about how that can help them in their business. What are the benefits to their business? And that's where we position ourselves with our loyalty and reward system is we're going to help you get customers and we're going to help you retain those customers and keep those customers coming back, working on the top 3 things that we want customers to come back more often. We want to get new customers, and we want customers to spend more money. Those are the 3 things that we're talking about. And we're not really talking about, here is, we've got 45 workflows or whatever it is. I don't know how many workflows we have, like 18 workflows and 72 messages that go out. And we have all these automations and stuff like that. Customers are great, but I mean, their eyes glaze over when you start talking about that stuff. What they want to know is, how is it going to work for them? And what's the ultimate benefit from using this system or using their system? That kind of stuff, right? I hope that makes sense. I hope not just rambling on here on things that don't really make sense, but I'm just going to keep going here. We've got 2 more to go through. Understanding that you are now a marketer and not just a business owner. So that's a huge thing. And I think people coming into high level are not just, I mean, people generally opening any business, they don't come in with the idea that they are now a marketer. They have to be a marketer in order to have a business. You need to, yeah. So Steve said, makes perfect sense. People don't want to hear a feature dump. They want to know how and why it will help them. Exactly. And that's what we want to hopefully discover here, and then replace things, put things in a way that is going to make it so a customer understands, right? If you say, hey, we're going to get, we have 15 workflows, we have 4 funnels, we have we have a conversations tab so you can talk to people on social media, we can send out emails, SMS, we can do automations, all that kind of stuff. We have a calendar. People are great, but like, awesome, I can get those other places as well. But if you're like, hey, we've got a way for you to get customers and retain customers so that customers come back more often and spend more money each time they walk through the door, is that something you'd be interested in? That's something that speaks to benefits. If we talk about like a loyalty program, they know what that is, and they're like, yeah, okay, I can see that's something that we would want to build out. So Scola said, it would be fun to see a role play sales call with you and Shan applying these principles. You as the restaurant and Shan selling the reward system to give us insight on how it should look and feel. Y'all game. We've talked about doing something, right? She's like, oh, we should do some like fun videos and some fun ads and stuff like that. Maybe that's something we'll put together. We'll talk about it this week and see what we can do, because I think that would be great. That's a fun idea. So and with all this, if you can master marketing, it doesn't matter what your business is. These are tools you can use for the rest of your life. I had a coaching client before, and in their coaching business, when you joined up, the first thing that they had you do, because it was about real estate and growing a real estate business, and the number one thing that he had his coaching clients do as soon as they joined up was get a subscription to Cutco knives and go door to door and sell Cutco knives, and or just sell them in general. And the idea was that, I mean, we have all these people coming in who they're house flippers, they're investors, they know how to do things, but they want to get more into this industry, but they've never sold, they don't know how to market, they don't know how to do anything like that. So getting them out of their comfort zone and getting them to understand how to do marketing, how to do sales, how to do those kind of things, because the power of persuasion. And when you're talking to people, those are tools that you can use for the rest of your life. Right? It's something that you can continually use and build. It's a muscle that you can keep growing. So that was number 11. So I'm going to jump over to number 12 here. Find customers where they are, not where you want them to be, and don't expect them to find you. I think this is huge, because so often we think the whole idea from the movie Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. If you put this website, and I've had clients who think like this all the time, right? They start a new business. They're like, I got to put up a website and then I'm going to get customers and things will be good. That's all I need to do. If you build it, they will come. Not necessarily. They have to find you. You have to convince them. You have to do all these things. But if we can go to where they are, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, in the words that we speak, then we become much more attractive to them, because then they know that we understand who they are and where they are. So that's the whole idea of the next exercise that we're going to do. here, and that's what we want people to do. So sorry, I'm like flipping between comments and on what's going on here, but becoming an attractive character to them, right? Behave in a way that makes them comfortable with you because you're meeting them where they are and you're speaking to them in a way that they want. You're speaking their language, right? Not just like which language are you speaking, but you're using the terminology that they use. You understand what's going on. You can ask the right questions that are industry specific questions. And a lot of time, if you don't have a ton of experience with that industry, you learn that simply by going out and talking to people in that industry. Go talk to hair salon owners, go talk to restaurant owners, go talk to the restaurant managers, go talk to HVAC and sales guys and stuff like that. And let them know that you're learning. If you have to, let them know. You don't have to like completely go the whole fake it till you make it thing, but go through and ask them questions, learn about their business, tell them that you've got this product, this system that you're using, and you think it'd be really great for them, and understand where their problems and frustrations are. And once you do that over a number of times, you're going to develop what we call a customer avatar, and that's going to move you into being able to sell to and work with a lot more customers of that same type, because now you're doing this thing where you're actually reaching out to those specific customers, and it's going to make more sense for you, and it's going to make more sense for your customers as well. So Michael said, I found demos sell. Really looking for help in getting a demo site up to act as a live pitch deck with a customer, focusing on restaurants. So want to make a demo restaurant example to show them what I have to offer and what they could have. Michael, we are putting together, we've pretty much put together, we're just finishing it up. I just want to make sure it's perfect before I send it out to you guys, is we have a demo site up specifically for restaurants that you're going to be able to take and send a customer to. And it's going to be gray label. So it doesn't have any of our branding or logos or anything like that on it. And you're going to be able to take your customers right into there, give them a live demo of the system, go through the entire pitch with them, and that'll be on us. So you'll be able to just do that. It won't have all your branding. So if you want to make completely different changes and everything like that to the system and be able to put it out there for restaurants, then you might have to set up your own demo. But what we can also do soon here as well is give you a snapshot to the demo so that you would be able to install it in your own system if you want to do that. Right now, it's starting at restaurant demo, no, restaurant dot myrewardsdemo.com. Here, I'll share the screen here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we're putting everything in here. So you can actually send customers to here, and then they can demo each one of these pages. So they can sign up for a subscription here. They can sign up for a promo that way, and then we'll send out the text messages and links and everything like that. They can click to sign into the rewards demo. That kind of thing as well. So it'll have like our generic logo and stuff, and they can put their information and it'll take them into the rewards demo. It'll also give them points so that they can earn points and then go through and redeem points and redeem coupons and all that kind of stuff as well. This one here, when you sign up, it's going to send them a text message and an email. And then we also have the loyalty card here. They're going to be able to go over and check out the loyalty card and subscribe for that and get points and do that kind of thing as well. So that's what we're setting up, and we'll put other things in here in the loyalty card demo, like a link to the loyalty dashboard that they can go through as well. So I think it's going to be super powerful. And when can we get links for the course? Shannon's just answering that. So anyways, that's the demo that we're putting together, and you guys are going to have access to that right away so that you guys can go out and share that. Even if you guys don't have our reward system yet and you guys want to go out and see if there's some customers who are interested in it, you can use this to go and pitch to them as well. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any more questions about what we just covered, 12 marketing mindsets. I think it's just something good to have in your head, something to think about. We'll share this pitch deck out, or this deck here out in the group as well, so you guys can have it and take a look at it. I think it's just good little mindsets to really think about as you're going through and growing your business. Yeah. So I'm not saying on the spot like right now. Yeah. So Scola was just talking about us doing like a role play call in order to see what it sounds like to actually call a customer and talk with them about growing their business. So I think that would be cool. Now I'm going to jump over to a customer avatar. If I don't know, Shan, you're still there. How are you doing over there?
I'm good. Do you think we should record just a separate customer avatar training and put it inside of the training section, or should we go for it right now? How's everybody doing? Was
Yeah,
that
give
a
us
lot of
a
information to process? You know, let me just see here.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
cool. I'm
let me
cool
know,
with
you
doing that
guys.
as well.
You guys want us to go through it? Let's see
No,
here.
I've got this. I'm going to Danica gives us a one up.
We could do it and then I can just edit it after too and put it inside of the membership section. Dawn, to answer your questions, I will double check and make sure that you were sent access. But if you've registered for the 21-day challenge, then you also will receive a separate email that is titled Welcome. I think that's the only thing in that subject line. It's called Welcome. And then there's a link with login information to a membership section that I created that has all the replays, links to the resources that we've talked about inside of each call. That's where we're going to add more things like scripts, tools, demo videos, things like that. And so if you haven't received that, then just shoot me a message and I can double check for you. I would love to do a role play thing today, but every time I start talking on here, my computer freezes on me. So I don't feel
Courtney said, or Scola said not today, but
okay.
it'd be a great thing to see in the future if we could
Yeah, we
facilitate
will.
like
Like,
that.
I actually have a bunch of different fun things planned that him and I are going to record. We're going to get the kids involved while they're home here for spring break too, and do some
Make them work.
fun, yeah, do some stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
right on. So can you guys see my screen say
okay.
that says creating your customer avatar?
Yeah, I can see
Okay,
it, babe.
cool. So, now here's something that I have done over and over again, and I so many courses and programs that I've been through, especially when it comes to marketing, copywriting, content creation, even board game design, anything like that, is talking about knowing your customer and your customer avatar, creating a customer avatar. I was trying to think of the name of I went through like a super heavy content and copywriting course from like this $400 million company that does financial stuff. And the first thing that they have all their new writers do is learn the customer avatar, create their customer avatar. Even places like Canadian Tire, Sears, like all the big stores, Walmart and stuff like that, they have a customer avatar of who their ideal customer is and who they're selling to. They've all done this and they know who the person is they're attracting walking through that door. And so, for example, up here in Canada, we've got a store called Canadian Tire. It's got everything from like automotive stuff to like seasonal things to paint and hardware. It's like a big hardware store. And it's great. And one of the things they did was years ago, they finally put together a customer avatar focusing on a specific type of male audience that they wanted to bring into their store. And when they actually built the customer avatar for Canadian Tire, their sales, I think it was more than doubled because then they were speaking to the exact type of customer that they wanted to bring in, the ones who are going to spend the most money. Now, if you've been in business for a long time and you've been in marketing for a long time and you're serving a niche or you're serving customers, you might have a really good idea of who that customer avatar is. And you can look back on, say, your top 10 customers you've had over the years and see who they are, what age they are, what stage of life they're in, what size, what kind of family do they have, what kind of car do they drive, where do they frequent, do they go on vacation, where do they go on vacation, how much do they spend on their marketing, how much do they spend on their business, all that kind of stuff. And build this customer avatar so you have a better sense of exactly who that customer is. Now, if you're just starting out, you're going to want to go out and find more customers to talk to about this, and even just more business owners in the niche that you're working in, and go talk to them, go interview them, understand who they are, what they do, what they're looking for, what their dreams are, and what their aspirations are. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly, and then I've got a PDF that we can look at as well. So with our customer avatar, we want to list common fears, frustrations, pains, and urgency. So every product we sell is bought because it fixes a problem. So people buy high level and they buy our services because it fixes a problem. It may not always be something we consider to be a traditional problem, like there's no milk left in the fridge, or I have a horribly sore back and need to fix now. Sometimes our customers' problem are what we may consider, like I need to stand out at this party, or they need a $250,000 car to feed their ego. Think about your ideal customers and write out what fears, frustrations, pains, and urgency they all have in common. Try to remove yourself from the equation. This is about how your customers think and not a projection of yourself if you were your own customer. So really getting into head, if you have a customer that is a restaurant owner, he's 42 years old, he's worked in the industry for years, he's got 2 kids. What keeps him up at night? What are things that keep him up at night that that's not letting him sleep? Like he wakes up in the middle of the night thinking about, we need to increase sales, right? We need more customers through the door. We need to fix something in our restaurant that's not working properly. We're losing money. Lunch isn't going as well as we want lunch to go. These are just things that he's thinking about. Like what can we do to bring in more business? What can we do to get our customers to spend more money? So
Can I add,
yeah,
sorry. Can I add to this really quickly?
yeah,
Really think about not just surface level problems, like we need to get busier. When we think about a restaurant in particular, it's, how many people do I need to schedule for this weekend or for next weekend? Last weekend, I had too much staff on and I'm paying payroll, but the place isn't busy. Or what if I don't
right.
staff enough people and then we're too busy? It's inconsistency in their business, right? How much food should I be ordering? How many wings for wing night should I be ordering? How much should we be prepping? And those are problems that keep them up at
That's
night,
huge. Yeah, that's
right?
wonderful. Yeah.
That's a huge one. Like, so it's, yeah, we want to be busier, but that's a surface layer problem. What are the actual things that your potential customer or a business owner, what are the problems, the real things that they're struggling with, right? Does that help?
Yeah, I love it. That's getting super specific. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is the kind of content. Like, it's frustrating when you have that much staff standing around. How can we make sure that things are consistent in our business? We know we need to schedule lots of people for Tuesday trivia night because tables are booked. So we know how much food to bring in. We know all of these things, right? Versus just wondering how many people are going to show up. Okay, I'm just going to be.
No, that's awesome. That's amazing. um so once we kind of have that, we go through the fears, frustrations, pains, urgencies, those kind of things. We need to make payroll. I need to be able to pay our staff. How many staff do we need to have on? I need to pay our rent here, our lease for this place, our utilities, I need to pay our Cisco bill, that kind of stuff. So thinking thinking about those things, and those fears and frustrations. It's not necessarily just around their marketing, but those kind of things going on in their business, and every business is going to have their own thing like that. So we also want to list their wants and aspirations. So what are your customers trying to achieve by buying your product or service? In the grander scheme, where do they see themselves in 5 years? What do they want out of life, your product and work? Think about your ideal customer and think about what wants and aspirations they have as they apply to your product slash service, and as well as life in general. So this isn't just be like, I want to get more customers in, I like to have, we want to have this loyalty program or whatever it is rolling so that we can keep customers coming back. This is like, I want to be the top performing, restaurant in this city. I want people to know us by name. I want to be able to go out and people know who I am as the owner of this restaurant. And people are like, wow, you're the owner of that restaurant.
Yeah.
Good job. But where do we want to see this? Are we going to franchise this business down the road? Is
Yeah.
that something that we want to do? How can we grow it and how can we continue investing and building this? Where do I want my marriage to be in 5 years from
Right.
now, right? Where do I want to be able to be with my kids? What am I going to do with, up here in the fears too, is like, how am I going to put my kids through university? Those kind of things. Those are fears that people are thinking about when you start thinking about who your customer avatar is, right? What kind of car do they want to be
Yeah.
driving? Where do they want to be able to go on vacation? You kind of can get an idea of some of these things from the customers that you're talking to, right? Too. So then we can come
Well, and I
down
think
into,
too, sorry, one
yeah,
more,
no,
just
continue
touching
on.
on this.
I won't move on so fast.
Because we've got the restaurant snapshot ready, I'm going to talk about restaurant owners or managers specifically.
Yes.
And we're going to keep doing these types of calls and gearing things towards different industries. But let's talk about restaurants specifically here. It's like, how is their relationship at home? If you know anybody who owns a restaurant, when they're first starting out, when they've just got one location, most likely they're there nonstop. So how is the relationships at home? How are the relationships with their friends? What is their freedom like? There's different reasons why people spend money. It's time, money, sex, is it not? It's
Health as
or
well.
health, sex, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's like, how much money is this going to make me? But it's also, my life at home. Like, what are those problems? So it's taking this list, take the time to make this list, and then think about just questions that you can ask. When's the last time you had a holiday? When's the last time you had a break away from here? You know,
Yeah. What would it be
sorry, I
like?
just lost my train of
Yeah.
thought, but
What would it be like if you were able to do this? Um, yeah, like what are your plans for 5 years for this place? It's an
yeah, do you
interesting
plan
thing
on
too. Do you guys plan on
franchising?
franchising this?
Yeah,
Like, um,
yeah. So then what are the systems that you have in place here that you're going to be able to sell? Do you have an exit plan? Do you have consistency? Things like that makes it way less salesy. It's just
yeah.
asking questions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? In that, I showed a book the other day, the spin selling. Spin selling goes into all this as well. It goes into asking more questions about your customers in order to sell them on things because you're uncovering problems, you're uncovering frustrations, that kind of thing. So that's another really good book that ties in with all of this. And I suggest checking it out too. So I'm going to move on to the next one. List their common experiences and reality. So this is the, how many kids do they have? Are they married? Are they here? So do they have kids? Are they married? Are they well off? Are they struggling to get by? Do they own their own business or do they have a job with the government? There are common experiences that we all want to explore. This helps give some background to our customers and helps them make what age are they? Where do they live? What kind of house do they live in? What kind of car do they drive? Where do they like to go out to eat? Where do they like to spend money on? All those kind of things is common experiences about those businesses. Like if you're talking to moms or something like that, they're all going to have a common experience versus talking to restaurant owner, restaurant managers or whatever. Like, you might have a mom that's a restaurant manager, but you know what I mean? If you're trying to sell something to restaurants or restaurant managers, understanding what the common experience of those restaurant owners or restaurant managers is and having an ideal kind of lifestyle that you can understand where they're coming from. If they are well off, they might be more open to spending more money on things. If they're struggling to get by, how can you pitch things so that it's in a way that they can make more money with it as well? So
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about that. So listing out these things is really powerful. And I've got a good example of a filled out one that you guys can have a look out at as well. So now this is one thing that I love here is list their common irrational fears and fantasies. Now, a lot of people don't talk about this, but we're going to talk about it, is their irrational fears. Like if this restaurant fails, my wife is going to leave me and like they'll divorce me and I won't be able to see my kids on the weekend. You know what I mean? If this restaurant fails, I'm going to lose my house, my car. No one's going to love me anymore. No one's going to like me. No one's going to want to talk to me. That kind of thing. And you can get into way more things, but it's like, what are they scared of? Yeah, like so everyone has rational fears and fantasies. What are your ideal customers? Are they afraid of the plane crashing every time they fly somewhere? That is a real thing. Are they scared that if they don't pick out the right wine, their friends aren't going to like them anymore? If are we scared that if we send messages through social media to people that we know, they're not going to want to talk to us anymore? You know, if we walk into a business to talk to somebody, these are irrational fears that we have, right? That they're gonna like hit us and kick our ass and never want to see us again or something. They're gonna call the cops, something like that. But you know what I mean? These are irrational fears that we have. There's things that we put into our head that we all think is if we do this thing, then this thing is going to happen. And we don't want that thing to happen. But a lot of it's in our head. So like, here's an example is if they lose 15 pounds, like here, so going into fantasies, if they have a super successful restaurant, they're going to have more friends. Their wife is going to love them. They're going to have sex again. I don't know. Like just things like that. These are rational fears or rational fantasies that they have that are going on in their head. If I just do this thing, then my life is going to drastically change. And we all do it with so many different things, but it's the idea of selling the shovel, right? It's the idea of selling the fantasy, that selling them to their fantasy. What is their fantasy? Understanding their fantasies, and then being able to sell your stuff that's linked up with their fantasies. So
Yeah.
it eliminates those fears that they have. If I don't lose 15 pounds, my wife is going to leave me and whatever. So people go and exercise and they diet or whatever, right? If I don't do this thing, the people on the hockey team, like I'm gonna call you out for a second, but if I smoke in front of people, if I smoke in front of people, they're not gonna want to be my friends anymore, kind of thing. It's just weird things like that kind of thing. Those are just irrational fears that we have in our head, but things that don't really matter. Nobody cares about, right? They're things that, I have to get my nails done or nobody's going to like me, stuff like that. And it's all ingrained in every type of person and in every business as well. So
A
understanding
quick
who your
question.
person is.
A
What's
quick
that?
question just came in through Facebook, and I think it's awesome. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. How do you get people to open up about all of these things? Mostly they talk business and are not really willing to share their struggles. So last Wednesday, I did a call. We talked about going through and finding your perfect customer, right? And a really good way to learn this is to, number one, search for Facebook groups that are restaurant owners. So like if you're going after restaurants, go and join Facebook groups that are made for restaurant owners. If you're dealing with landscapers, go find Facebook groups of just people that own landscaping businesses, and you will start to see the same conversations and the same things come up. So you don't need to be in there pitching your services. You could just be in there learning what language they use when they speak, what they're struggling with. Maybe they're struggling with estimates and how to come up with quick estimates as a landscaper. So they're asking, what tools are you guys using for that? What tools are you guys using for bookkeeping? What tools are you using? What kind of peat moss do you like to use? Where do you like to buy that? Those are the things that you'll start to learn what their language is. Another really good thing that you could do is search on Amazon for like top books around landscaping, top books around restaurant business owners. Then go take a look at those books and take a look at what the comments are, what the reviews are, because right there you're going to see restaurant owners writing reviews on books or on certain things, like what they've taken away as far as their business goes. Does that make sense? That's a really good hack, honestly. But also just get out there, and when you walk in somewhere and you start talking to somebody, remember, like, if you don't already work with 50 other restaurants, then you probably need to learn more about that type of business, right? And that's okay. And it's okay to say, I'm just starting to work with restaurants. I'm really passionate about food. I am really passionate about helping restaurants get back going. After like COVID, people are still struggling, whatever it may be. I just want to ask you a bunch of questions. I would just love to learn more about you and your business, and just be genuine about it, right? Like, what are some of the top things that stress you out when it comes to this business? I'm thinking about, you as an owner, right? I'd like to learn more about you, and you'll start to really hear some of the same things over and over and over and over and over again,
Mhm. And then you'll get an idea the more people you talk to. Like, you can't just go up to somebody and say, what are your irrational fears? Would you please tell me those?
No, but
Kind of thing.
you can easily
But
say, like, are you planning on going on holidays this summer? And
yeah,
that's
where
where
are
they
you guys going to?
probably say to you, fuck, I wish, but I am running this restaurant and I haven't been able to leave here in like 3 years. And I'm here from 6 a.m. until 11 o'clock at night every day. Oh, wow. Well, do you have a family at home? Like, that must be hard, and
Yeah.
maybe that's natural for me because I was a hairstylist, I need to say, for a lot of years. I know how to talk to anyone. But and let me know if it would be helpful. I can put together a list of questions that you can ask, or conversational, conversation starters, things like that. But yeah, just interview people, get to know people.
Yeah, it reminds me of
Don says, I started a Teams
uh,
page where I interview the owners. And yeah.
there was a good there was a good talk by Dan Kennedy, amazing copywriter and stuff too. But he I'll have to dig it up. But I know he was like, you're basically talking to, I think, two or three different people. They're family oriented, money oriented, business oriented, or something like that. And then you want to figure out which type of person that is, and we won't get into that now, but it's kind of that idea. So if they mention that they have kids or family or stuff like that, then you can go into talking more about their family. If they're talking about their business or where they're going on vacation, then talk more about that thing. The whole thing is, even in spin selling, in so many different really good sales books, is like talking to them, asking them questions, and being the person who asks the questions and initiates the question asking. Because people want to talk about themselves, and they don't mind, as long as you're not like going off on weird tangents. But I find the more questions that I ask people, they'll answer all this is where we're going on vacation. Oh, what's that going to be like? Oh, this is going to be awesome. You guys must be excited for that. And asking, just keeping the conversation going that way, and then bring stuff back into business as well. But you're probably not going to, some of the stuff for irrational fears and fantasies, you're going to get some of them, but you might just have to guess on a few of them, and just kind of guess at what they exactly might be when you're imagining who that customer is. But the whole point of this exercise is not thinking about yourself as buying your product, because you are not the person buying your product. They're the person buying your product. So when it comes to selling your product, they might be at a completely different financial level. They might be at a completely different phase of life. They have different goals and reasons and experiences and things that they want to do, that are not you. So I find a lot of times we want to price our products and everything like that based on something that we would buy, not thinking about how much would the person that we want to sell things to, how much would they pay for the thing, right? And that comes down to high level and all that kind of stuff. But like, whatever service it is. But a lot of times we will price things based on our experience, rather than what the customer experience is, or what their customer is willing to spend. Because I mean, even if you look at websites, there's people who build websites for $500. There'll people who will build that same website for 1,500. There's people who build that same website for 3 grand, and there's people who will build that exact same website for 10 grand, and they will all sell that and plus, right? They'll sell those different websites to different customers who have different experiences and who are willing to spend more money based on who they are, right? They're just going after a different customer avatar rather than the same one. You're not going to sell the $10,000 website to the person who only wants to spend 300, but knowing that you tell somebody, hey, our base cost is 10 grand for this, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's cool, that's what I expected, but then there's other people who are like, what, I don't want to spend more than $300 on that kind of thing. So there's just different customers out there, and understanding who your customer is and taking yourself out of it, your ego out of it, and putting yourself in their shoes and imagining their lifestyle and who they are and how much money they have and what they're willing to spend is the whole key of this. So we're going to give our person a name. We're going to give them an age. Are they male or female? What's their job, marital status, income, life goals, career goals? Where do they want to go? Where do they want to be? When do they want to retire? All that kind of stuff. And as you start talking to more people, you will get a better sense of all these things. So it's just important to keep these things in mind when you're talking to these customers, to kind of dig out those little nuggets, because this is exactly what we were talking about in 12 marketing mindsets, of understanding your customer better than they understand themselves. So when you look at people who are doing like high level and they're like targeting roofers and they've got like roofermarketer.com, they know roofers. They know what those, we're targeting roofers that are like 42 years old who are in this stage of life. They're in this stage of business. They have this many customers. They have this many trucks. They're making about this much revenue. They're bringing in this. They have, they've got a wife and they've got 2 kids. They like to go on vacation here. Maybe they haven't gone into this much detail, but this is all the things that you can see as you start into a niche that you're like, oh, I can see it now. Okay. This is what's keeping them up at night. They've got labor costs, they've got fuel costs, they've got material costs. Is that customer going to pay their bill on time? What's the weather, like all different kinds of things. You could see these things as you start diving into these different niches and start building out a customer avatar. And then here's an interesting task here at the end too. So describing a day in the life of your customer avatar. So thinking about, again, taking yourself out of you, putting yourself in their shoes and being like, okay, when Bob wakes up, what does Bob do? Does Bob get up and does Bob go to the gym first thing in the morning? Does he work out at home? Does he leave the house, go and work out, then come home? Does he have kids? Is he helping get his kids ready? Is Bob leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the restaurant? Or is he a manager and he's showing up around 9:30 or 10 or something like that? What does he do? What kind of car does he drive? Does he have to take his kids to sports? Does he what are all the things? So you can go through and describe, and it just helps you get into your customer's head. And that's the whole point of this exercise, is understanding more about your customers, because it will help you make more sales when you can understand who they are and what they're going through, what they want to achieve, what they're afraid of, what they're irrationally afraid of. And what kind of fantasies do they have, where when their business hits $2 million in revenue, what are they going to be able to do? Are they going to sell their business? Are they going to franchise it? Are they just going to become like the most popular place in town with a lineup of 50 people out the door? What are the things that they're going to be able to do? Are they going to remove themselves from the business completely and just have managers running it? Whatever, so you'll have an idea. And I mean, you'll hit and so many different restaurants, so many restaurants at different levels. There's fast food, there's like traditional sit down, there's steakhouses, there's bakeries and pizza places and all different kinds of things. So understanding, getting a better sense of your customer and who they are, is going to make such a huge difference in the way that you speak to customers and your confidence when you go out and talk to people.
Yeah, I love it. We had a good chat about this on Saturday. That's why I thought it would be good to cover this today. I think it was Sam and I that were talking, and it's talking about thinking about for a minute, even getting back to like a landscaping company, right? How many different types of landscaping companies are there? There's, does the business have, we most likely want to work with a business owner that has their ass on the line in some form, right? So hair salons, landscaping companies, restaurants, whatever, do they have staff they need to pay? They want to make sure
Thanks,
they've
Steve.
got lots of jobs booked, right? But there's a really big difference between the problems of a landscaping company that has 3 different trucks and 10 staff versus maybe a one-man show, right?
Yeah.
So really be mindful of that. And it's okay to really narrow it down and say, if you make X amount of money, in the year and you want to crack X amount, then this is for you, right? For us,
And
we're really trying to do that right now as well for power tools. Like if you're starting an agency or you've got an agency going, but you want to hit 6 figures this year, right? You want to add an extra 3K a month right now and then keep growing. By the end of the year, that does equate to 6 figures, right? So what is your day like, right? What are you struggling with? It's a lot different than a multi-billion-dollar marketing agency, right? Let's
yeah,
see in the
yeah,
comments here.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, one more thing. It's scary to think about narrowing down sometimes, because you feel like you're going to miss out on everything else. But if you're showing up as an authority in one area and you know that one type of business really well, and you're speaking directly to that one person, first of all, they're going to think that you are the only option. You're the only person that actually gets them. If they're like, holy shit, you're saying things to me that I think about inside my head every single day, like you really get me, then that's a lot easier. But you're also going to attract other people outside of that too. You're not limiting yourself to only that one thing.
Absolutely. No, it's so important. And it's easy to forget how important it is. So I'm just gonna show you guys one thing that we're also going to include in the docs here as well, is we put together this PDF worksheet. You can fill it on, it's all digital. You can also just do the Word doc that we threw in there as well. You can fill that information out. It has a little bit more information in there versus the PDF. But here you can put in their goals, their values, age, gender, stat, all that kind of stuff. What challenges are they? What pain points? What kind of books do they like reading? Magazines? Where do they go for blogs, websites? Do they go to conferences? Are there people that they follow? Any other information here? You could put any kind of information in here, a quote that they might think is important, kind of thing. You're just kind of getting in their head a little bit more. What's their job, occupation, job title? How much money do they make? Level of education, other objections to why they wouldn't want to buy your stuff, and then where are they in their role of the purchase process. So filling out that information here is just going to give you a quick sheet in order to fill out and look at. You can take this and print this off or have this in front of you as well, so that you can actually get in with your customer. And then I've got one here, and then this is for a marketing agency. This has been a long time since I actually filled this out, but this is not exactly what we're doing now, but I wanted to share it with you as well. So here's a customer avatar, an agency. He's 40, he's male, he's married, he's got 2 kids, age 8 and 10, lives in Florida. He wants to increase agency business, increase capabilities of his team, scale his business. Eric is committed to professional development for him and his employees, provide value to his clients using white hat marketing principles. So he's on legit. He's challenged with scaling his agency, finding, training, and retaining top client or talent, keeping his marketing skills sharp. So you can take a look at this, and kind of gives you an example of who the person is, and what they're kind of going through and thinking about. And then it wouldn't hurt to fill out both, because in this one here, we don't really talk about irrational fears, but I love the idea behind irrational fears, because it's a lot of the stuff, that's the emotional stuff that drives us to do the things that we do. That's where the emotional fears and irrational fears and irrational fantasies, those are the things that at the core drive us to do the things that we do. They're the reason that we buy. They're the reason why we spend money. They're the reason why we spend so much time in our businesses or on a hobby or doing anything that they do, going to the gym. They're the fears and the goals and the aspirations and the fantasies that we have that keep us going, doing the thing that they do. Those are the things that talk to the lizard and chimpanzee brains in all of us. So we'll put these in the docs as well, so you guys can get access to that and use those and fill out your customer avatars. And if you guys could do that by Wednesday, I would love to hear some of the customer avatars that you guys have put together. Before then, that would be amazing to see.
Yeah, that will be fun. Let's do that.
Okay, cool. Well, we hit
That
an
was a
hour and
long
40
one.
minutes. Yeah, it's a
Wow.
good one.
We can
Remember at the start, we're like, we're just going to keep these to 20 minutes. Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So I know there's a lot to dive into here, but this week, I mean, for this week, start just trying to do a 7-minute meditation a day, thinking about your customer process, getting out there, getting customers, everything being positive. Go through that whole scenario in your mind and imagine it. Sit down and do it. It's such a great activity to do. Go through this customer avatar, go through that, understand who your customers are, and just think about that. Start booking more calls and start talking with more people who are out there. And the more you go through the visualization process, the easier it's going to be the things that you want to stay away from. And just remember, the hard things are the things that grow our business, right? The hard things that we don't want to do are the things that grow our business. So yeah. All
It's
right.
true.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on with us again today. I have to go and build a trampoline now. Kids are home and I can hear them running around upstairs.
So
So,
I'm going to load everything into the membership section. There's a
yeah.
comment area there. I feel like I just froze again if I didn't.
No, you're good.
If you're catching the replay on social media, if you're over there on Facebook, thank you for joining us today. I look forward to connecting with you guys more. Comment with any questions, insights, nuggets that you may have. And
I appreciate that.
and don't forget, Jason's tech call is still every Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. PST. So if you have just signed up for Power Tools, if you're stuck anywhere, that is where you can jump on and get real support in real time with Jason. That's always the best thing to do, is carve those 2 hours out every week. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. I think that's it.
Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, last thing we should do is just throw we should just throw the link to Power Tools and stuff like that in chat in case anyone doesn't have it and they want to check it out. Powertools.com, or our loyalty and reward system is HTTPS ghlpowertools.com/loyalty_and_rewards. Gonna put those in chat, so if you guys want to click on those and check those out, absolutely. We're doing this 21-day challenge for the next 2 weeks here, and then every Tuesday and Thursday are our support and tech calls for Power Tools and rewards. So feel free to jump on there as well. Now, yeah, if you guys want to check out Power Tools or loyalty and rewards, yeah, do that now. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Okay, bye guys.
All right, appreciate you. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.